Welcome to the Google Cloud Update for the week of February 5th, 2026. I'm your host, and we've got a fantastic lineup of updates for you today. This week, we're diving into the world of AI with a powerful new model from Anthropic landing in Vertex AI. We'll cover a wave of serverless updates, including the latest PHP runtime appearing across Cloud Run, Functions, and App Engine, plus new GPUs and enhanced networking for Cloud Run. For all you data engineers and analysts, we have a packed segment. BigQuery gets more powerful and secure, Dataproc has some great quality of life improvements, and CloudTrace gets a massive upgrade with log analytics integration. We'll also touch on new database features for Cloud SQL and Spanner, FIFO processing and application integration, and a ton of security and IAM updates. Let's get into it. Kicking things off in the world of artificial intelligence, Vertex AI Model Garden has a new resident. Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6 is now available. This is a significant addition, bringing one of the most advanced models on the market directly into the Google Cloud ecosystem for you to build with. Sticking with AI, Gemini and BigQuery has an important update regarding data residency. It will now process your data in the same jurisdiction as your BigQuery datasets, either US or EU, or based on your specific location settings. This is a key update for anyone with strict data sovereignty and compliance requirements. And for Gemini Enterprise, admins can now breathe a little easier. Usage audit logs for both Gemini Enterprise and Notebook LM Enterprise are now available in Cloud Logging, giving you better visibility into user queries and responses. Plus, you can now set fine-grained, app-level IAM policies for individual Gemini Enterprise apps, moving beyond just project-level controls. Now let's talk about serverless and compute. Great news for the PHP community. The 8 Philippine pesos and 50 centavos runtime is now in preview across Cloud Functions, Cloud Run, and both the standard and flexible environments for App Engine. It's great to see consistent, broad support for the latest runtimes across the serverless portfolio. Cloud Run has been getting a lot of love lately, with 2 major new features. First, direct VPC ingress for Cloud Run worker pools is now available. This means each worker instance gets its own private IP address on your VPC network, allowing for secure internal communication between instances. You can retrieve these private IPs using the metadata server. This is a huge step forward for building complex, secure microservices on Cloud Run. Second, for those of you running intensive workloads, Cloud Run now has preview support for the NVIDIA RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell GPU. You can add this powerful new GPU to your services, jobs, and worker pools to accelerate your processing. All right, let's dive into the massive world of data and analytics. We have a lot to cover here, starting with BigQuery. First up, a feature that many have been waiting for is now generally available. You can now pass parameterized queries directly from the BigQuery query editor in the Google Cloud Console. This is fantastic for preventing SQL injection and making your reusable queries cleaner and safer. On the security front, you can now associate data policies directly on columns. This feature, which is now GA, gives database administrators direct, granular control for applying masking and transformation rules at the column level. And for those of you working with YouTube data, the BigQuery data transfer service for both YouTube channel and YouTube content owner sources now supports reach reports, giving you even deeper insights. Moving over to data flow. Managed I/O now supports rolling upgrades for streaming jobs. This is a great operational enhancement. Dataflow will automatically upgrade your managed I/O connectors in running pipelines as new versions become available, keeping you up to date without manual intervention. Now for Dataproc. There's a whole host of updates here. A really cool new feature is a property called Dataproc PyPI repository. This lets you customize the PyPI repository used for pip. You can set it to a URL or simply use the value Google to use a Google-hosted cache of PyPI, which is accessible without public internet connectivity. This will even become the default in future image versions. Other Dataproc updates include Apache Pig now being available on ARM images, the Parquet CLI and Delta Subminer versions getting an upgrade in recent images, and a fix for connecting to a Dataproc Metastore instance with a gRPC protocol endpoint on ARM images. And an announcement for all you data lineage fans. An upcoming change in May will automatically enable Spark data lineage when the data lineage API is enabled, simplifying the setup process. Next up, a huge update for observability. CloudTrace is leveling up. You can now analyze your trace data using the Log Analytics page in the Google Cloud Console. This lets you run SQL queries against your trace data and even join it with log data. This is a massive improvement for deep dive analysis and debugging complex issues. To enable this, CloudTrace now stores your trace data in a new observability dataset, which you can link to BigQuery for even more powerful querying. This is a game changer for anyone serious about observability. And let's not forget our analytics UI tools. Looker's conversational analytics now displays its reasoning. When you ask it a question, you can click Show Reasoning to get a plain text explanation of the steps it took to analyze your query. This is great for building trust and understanding how the AI is interpreting your requests. Let's move on to the backbone of many applications: databases. First, for Cloud SQL, a great flexibility update is here for all three engines: MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQL Server. You can now update the Server Certificate Authority, or CA, mode of an existing instance. This allows you to switch from the default per instance CA to a shared CA or even a customer-managed CA. This is a welcome change for organizations with specific certificate management policies. In the world of Spanner, there's a powerful new feature in Preview. You can now create and host remote functions in Cloud Run and call them directly from your Spanner queries using the Google SQL dialect. This opens up a whole new world of possibilities for extending Spanner's capabilities with custom code. For Firestore, when you're looking at your list of databases in the console, you'll now see a handy status column. It will show you if the database is ready, being cloned, restoring from a backup, or if it has failed. It's a small change that brings a lot of clarity to database operations. And finally, for databases, AlloyDB has a new preview feature for its columnar engine called Virtual Columns for Expressions. This caches the results of frequently used expressions, which can significantly improve query performance and reduce CPU usage, especially for analytical workloads. Now for a quick look at integrations and containers. In application integration, you can now publish messages to pub subtopics with ordering keys. This enables reliable first in, first out, or FIFO message processing. If the order of your events is critical, this is the feature you've been waiting for. And over in the Kubernetes world, GKE has rolled out its regular version updates across the rapid, regular, stable, and extended channels. As always, these new versions bring new features, bug fixes, and updated container-optimized OS images, which incorporate the latest security patches to keep your clusters secure. Please check the release notes for the new default versions and auto-upgrade targets for your specific channel. Let's talk networking and infrastructure management. For those of you using Bring Your Own IP, or BYOIP, with VPC, there's a new GA feature for enhanced IP address allocation. You can now create individual static external IPv4 addresses directly from your BYOIP prefixes, giving you more granular control over your IP address space. And in Resource Manager, a new remote MCP server is now in preview. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. You can use this to search and identify all the Google Cloud projects you have access to, making it easier to find the right project identifiers before you start configuring resources. Finally, let's wrap up with a flurry of updates in security and operations. Chronicle SIEM has a ton of new parser documentation available, with support for logs from sources like ForgeRock, Fortinet, H3C, and many more. A powerful new YRL function called Recapture All is now available, which lets you extract every non-overlapping match of a regular expression from a string, not just the first one. Also, an important security note, to enhance data security, several features related to indicators of compromise now require global scope data RBAC permissions, so admins should review user roles to ensure continued access. Organization policy service custom constraints are becoming more widespread. They are now available for some artifact analysis resources and for storage transfer service. This allows you to enforce fine-grained rules like restricting transfers to only allow cloud storage to cloud storage transfers. And as always, we have a number of IAM updates. This week, service agent roles for Cloud Build, Composer, and Cloud Run received new permissions to enable new features. For example, the Cloud Build service account can now create compute images. Many new permissions were also added to the Gemini Enterprise and Discovery Engine roles to power new Cloud AI companion features. For Dataplex users, the metadata feed owner and viewer roles are now generally available. And BigQuery has new GA permissions for getting and setting IAM policies on reservations. There are many more, so be sure to check the IAM release notes for all the details. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. Whew, what a week. From the powerful new Claude Opus 4.6 model in Vertex AI to the game-changing SQL analytics in Cloud Trace and the direct VPC ingress for Cloud Run, there's a lot to get excited about. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another dose of Google Cloud news.